Okay, so let's talk about the safety features of these needles. So the greatest risk for a needle stick is going to happen during the handling and disposal of the used needles after the injection. Okay, once it pierces your patient's skin, it's going to collect their germs, and if you were to pierce your hand or skin with it, then you have a possible contamination at that point. So they recommend that you never recap a needle after you give an injection. Okay. They do have these little safety features that you just clamp this piece down and it's going to cover the very tip of that needle and protect you or anybody else that you run into. The risk of a needle stick include, transmission of any of your bloodborne pathogens like your hepatitis B, C, HIV, all that stuff. So as you are toting that needle from patient to sharps container, they recommend that you point it to the ground, be aware of anybody else in the room, just be very, very careful with it. But they do have all the safety features on those needles now too, that you clamp down. It's not necessarily recapping the needle. It's a feature that you can safely section off that needle tip to where it won't hurt anybody. So page 216 listed some more ideas on the safety features. Do not recap the needles. Be aware of needles projecting from overfilled containers. Okay, so you are going to place them in this sharps container bucket. Okay, you've probably seen those in the doctor's offices before, but you always just drop it in there. Okay, but just be aware if it's too full and there's things sticking out of it, you need to be careful with that. Okay, be aware of human traffic when crossing a room or exiting a curtained area. So just make sure that you've got the needle pointing away from the carrier towards the floor so that it's not angled towards the ceiling. Those sharp containers need to be replaced when they are 2/3 full. Do not attempt to push a syringe into a filled sharps container. Your hand could be stuck. Be very careful if a bedside treatment that included an injection, kind of like a spinal tap, has been performed. Okay, there could be a needle that had been dropped in the bed by mistake and could pose a needle stick risk. Okay. During orientation to any new clinical agencies, the nurses need to familiarize themselves with the types and uses of syringes and needles, the needleless equipment that's available, and the location of the sharps containers. Okay, as well as where do you dispose of these sharps containers at. So agency policies pertaining to the handling of equipment must also be checked. Okay, so every facility is going to have different rules, but there's our sharps container. Okay, we've talked about the syringes, we've talked about the needles. Let's talk about how much medication you're supposed to give somebody for the different types of routes. Okay, a recommended fluid volume. If you're doing an intradermal skin test, they recommend that you use 0.1 milliliters. So we're going to be using a 1 ml syringe, the teeny tiny syringe, and we're only going to be using 0.1 ml of that syringe to do an intradermal skin test. So this is your TB skin test. Remember the one that did a big welt on your forearm right there? That was 0.1 mils. Felt bigger than that, looked bigger than that, right? 0.1 mil for an intradermal skin test. These are also like your allergy skin test that you might have seen people do on the patient's back. Okay, that they will pierce the skin with lots of different allergens to see what kind people flare up to. Okay, any of your skin tests are going to be just that teeny tiny little amount. If you're going subcutaneous, they recommend 0.5 to 1 mil of fluid. If you're going intramuscular, you can do up to 3 milliliters. Okay, anything bigger than 3 mil is not recommended for an intramuscular. Now, if you're doing an IV injection, it's all over the place. You can get really big with those, all the way up to 60 milliliters or more. Yes. Okay. So let's look at some problems like what you might see on your homework. Perform the calculations, determine how much is in each dose. then mark the syringe at the correct calibration mark. Okay, so let's say we have an order to give 40 milligrams of drug Z. Now available, it comes 50 milligrams per milliliter. And we've got a 3 ml syringe. Okay, so we need to figure out what is our milliliter per dose, right? How much medication are we going to put in this syringe? So let's start off with milliliter per dose. And our first fraction needs to have milliliters at the top, since that's what our desired answer is. So go to your available, and it tells you that 1 ml is 50 milligrams, right? So put the milliliter at the top, and that's our desired answer. That's going to put milligram at the bottom, which means our next fraction needs to have milligrams at the top. That's your order, 40 milligrams per dose. So our units matched. We were able to just jump from our label, whatever was available to us, to our order. Right? We didn't need a conversion factor in there. So milligrams get to cancel. Top times top is 40. Bottom times bottom is 50. We divide that, and I got a 0.8 milliliter per dose. So I don't have to round this at all. Okay, we're not going to round that up to the nearest milliliter or anything like that. On that 3 ml syringe, you can actually measure out 0.8 milliliters. Okay, this first big calibration marking is at a half. So that's a 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. Should be right in there. So be careful as you're drawing those lines. Make sure that you are on the calibration marking you want to be on. Okay. Alright, let's try number 2. We've got an order for 35 milligrams of drug Y, and available is 100 milligrams per milliliter. Alright, so again, milliliter per dose. Our first fraction needs milliliter at the top. So in our available, they told us that 1 ml is going to be 100 milligrams. That puts milligrams at the bottom, which means we need milligrams at the top. So we'll grab our 35 milligrams per dose. Cancel the milligrams. We have milliliter on top, dose on bottom. That was what we were wanting. So we're good to go. We'll be looking at a 35 over 100. So that's going to give you a 0.35 milliliter per dose. Now, do we have to round that to the nearest, 1 decimal place, something like that? Not on a 1 ml syringe. Remember that 1 ml syringe, you can go to 2 decimal places. Okay, so 0.35, that's 0.10, 0.20, 0.30, 0.35 will be right in there. Okay, 0.35.